Your daily dose of sports talk is here. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. From the entertainment capital of the world, SportsWrap with Jason Page starts now.
Welcome to it, this Wednesday edition of the show. Always busy on Wednesdays. Sam Yarnell has the day off. We'll be joined by David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, as SportsWrap goes inside baseball every Wednesday. We also have our NBA Weekly. Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com will be here coming up in about 10 minutes. Get his thoughts on the two play-in games from Tuesday night. Look ahead to the games from Wednesday night. Talk some playoffs with him as well. A couple other topics going on around the league. Could this be the final game for Steve Kerr as head coach of the Golden State Warriors if the Warriors lose tonight to the Clippers? Certainly a conversation worth having as well. He wants to come back. Team doesn't seem like they're in much of a rush to give him a new deal. See what happens there. So a lot to talk about with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Outrageous price gouging when it comes to the World Cup. That continues. We'll get to that in odds and ends and a whole bunch more. But we start things out as we always do on this Wednesday edition of the show. It's time for the big story. The big story presented by our friends at Colossus Fantasy. Pick'em games, peer-to-peer, fantasy. They have all of it. Colossus Fantasy. Go and download the app today. Use my promo code SportsWrap when you sign up. Get yourself a $40 bonus on a $10 deposit, an $80 bonus on a $20 deposit right now. Download the Colossus Fantasy app. We start things out in the world of the NFL. This story broke yesterday. I was out having brunch here, or lunch here in Las Vegas. I was enjoying one of the million different all-you-can-eat buffets that still exist in Las Vegas. They still have them here. And the story broke of Dianna Russini resigning from The Athletic, where she had been the NFL insider, the lead NFL insider there for the last few years. And the first thing that comes to my mind is sadness. Sadness for her, sadness for her family, sadness for her kids, who are one day going to have to read about this, sadness for her husband, and a general sadness for one of the people that I've known in this industry for a long time. And for people who say, I've seen people out there, I'm not going to name names, you know who you are. For people who say, well, why has the media been so slow to report on this? One, I've been talking about it since basically the story broke. So I'm not one of those people. I've tried to remove myself from it, though, as much as possible, because as many of you who watch this show know, Dianna comes on the show frequently. And, a little secret in this industry. A lot of shows pay for their insiders to come on, pay for guests to come on. We don't. Okay? You either want to come on this show or you don't. There might come a time where, a certain guest is in our, is in our purview and we might be able to get them, and maybe we'll pay for guests. We don't right now. But Dianna Russini is generally somebody that can command dollars to go and appear on shows. Dan Patrick, Dan Le Batard, the Barstools of the world, things like that. She doesn't pay to come on the show. You know why? Because we have a respect for each other. And I've known her for a long time, going back to her days in Connecticut when she was just a local sports reporter. So for people to say, well, you haven't been as hard on Dianna Russini as you might be on some other story. People who say stuff like that don't have friends in the industry. And there's a reason that generally I don't have a lot of friends in the industry. And this is it. Because when you do, either you have to pull punches or you have to restrain yourself a little bit, tame yourself a little bit when you're going to talk about these kinds of stories. Now look, I'm not going to do that in this instance. All of that to say this. I'm not going to tame myself. Here's the way I look at the story. And I've texted with Dianna. Nothing super deep. I don't have any more detail than you've probably read in your, different social media feeds and the various stories that have been written about this. So I don't have any top secret information here. But here's what I will say. Dianna Russini, there was some sort of lapse in judgment in putting yourself in a position to be seen with a head coach that you were covering the way Mike Vrabel was. Do I know if they were sleeping together? I have no idea. And you don't have any idea. And people saying they think they have an idea have no idea. Oh my God, they held hands. It still doesn't mean you know they slept together. The only two people that know whether or not for certain Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel slept together are Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel. Now, take that, put it aside for a moment. She covers a lot of things other than Mike Vrabel and has throughout a very distinguished career. And I highly doubt that she's been sleeping around to get all of these different stories throughout her career. She's clearly good at what she does. With that said, I think she's going to land another gig out of this. I don't know where it's going to be. Her contract's up at the end of June with The Athletic. I think Dianna Russini lands somewhere. Maybe somebody like Dan Le Batard hires her. Maybe Barstool hires her. Somebody's going to hire Dianna Russini. She's too damn good at what she does. That's one. Two, the idea that people think there is a double standard. There is a double standard in terms of how we treat Mike Vrabel versus how we treat Dianna Russini in this story. But here's the problem with that. Mike Vrabel isn't a reporter. He's a football coach. Which, with all due respect, is not brain surgery sometimes. Okay? It is not the sort of thing where the conflict of interest is as much at play on his side as it is on her side. So for Mike Vrabel and people saying he should be fired, you're an idiot. They're not going to fire him. He shouldn't be fired. He should have to answer, though, for what was going on. Every bit as much as people want her to have to answer for what was going on. That isn't happening. He's being protected right now by the local media. But Dianna Russini is going to be fine. That is the one thing I will say coming out of this. It's going to suck for a while. She's going to have to go and basically hide out and wait for the dust to sort of settle. But Dianna Russini is going to be fine. She's going to get a job somewhere else again. And for all those women out there, I don't have enough time to get into all the women that are hammering Dianna Russini. Just going to leave it at that. We're coming back. Welcome back to the show. I've had my say in the big story. Let's talk about some stuff on the court, on the field, on the ice, wherever it may be. Bringing our friend, the one and only Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, who hangs out with us. Let me ask you this, just piggybacking off what we were talking about in the big story today with this whole Dianna Russini thing. How far, because it feels like in the NFL, insiders are really deep inside the lives of the people they cover. Is it that way in the NBA?
I don't think in quite the same way. There is absolutely relationships. I should say it's a little bit depends on the person. I'm not going to tell stories out of school here that like Chris Haynes and Damian Lillard are really tight, are tight. And so if he's reporting something there, kind of people just know, all right, that is. But I don't think even there, I don't think it's that kind of thing. And I think when you got to Shams Charania, he's got relationships with people, but he's not close to anybody that I know of, like really that in that sense. And Woj had friendships and relationships, but he was an old school reporter in a lot of ways, in terms of just.
So you don't hear of stuff, without naming names, you don't hear of stuff where it goes over the line that way.
No, I don't want to say it doesn't happen or there hasn't been that kind of thing, but I'm not familiar with it. I haven't seen it used for I don't know enough about Dianna Russini and that story.
No.
But I don't know that it was used for inside information in those kind of relationships in that way. It's even, like I said, the stuff with Haynes and look, it's so much more driven. And I don't know, maybe it is this way in the NFL. It's so driven by agents. It's less about, I don't say you don't have relationships with coaches and teams, but agents are what drive much more of that, at least at the NBA.
Yeah, interesting. Heat Hornets last night, boy, it was a banger. And Charlotte gets the win. LaMelo hit some big shots late. I love Kobe White. I have always loved Kobe White. There is not a moment that is too big for him. He has zero fear, and I love that about him. And he's been that way since day one that he got into the league with the Bulls. The play that everybody's talking about, here it is. The trip on Bam Adebayo. I mean, there's no way to look at this and say it isn't a dirty play on some level. I mean, the fact that the officials didn't even go back and look at it, Kurt, has to be a bit of a surprise, and I'm curious to see how the league addresses it post-haste.
The league addressed not reviewing it by saying there was no call to review. Because LaMelo was not called for a foul, there was nothing to review. That explanation has been used before, and it still bugs me because there is no way, and I think you see this a little more with VAR in soccer, where they're like, hey, go back and look at that. Like, you need to stop and go back and look at this because what you missed, what everybody missed, is worth seeing. And in certain situations, they should be able to do that in the NBA. They should be able to say, hey, I don't remember off the top of my head who the crew chief was. Stop, go look at this, review this, because this would have risen to, I don't know that they would have ejected him as much as Spoelstra wanted, but it's an easy flagrant one. It's an easy flagrant foul. And by the way, that free throw in a game that went to overtime, I don't know how they do it. And I bet my guess is the league will fine him, that the league will say it should have been a flagrant one. Here's your $25,000, $35,000 fine, and that'll be that, and they'll move on. I don't know if he would have been ejected, but it was worth a discussion that didn't happen.
Yeah,
and it absolutely changed the game because that's the Heat's best player.
Oh, without question. And the Heat still almost won the game. And look, Spoelstra makes a valid point too that they blew a lead late. They still could have won the game without Bam in that spot.
Absolutely. Look, they had their chances down the stretch and they couldn't get stops. And this, by the way, is why I think people kept saying everybody would be like Charlotte. We're like, Charlotte is the team. You got to watch Charlotte. You got to watch. This is why you watch Charlotte. They thrive in chaos. This kind of wild, out of control, up and down, fast paced. That is what they like. That is what they want to do. And that was epitomized in that game, really. Right? That was the ultimate.
So they move on in the play-in tournament. Right. Give me a thought on Denny Advia last night, who was just terrific. 41 in a win for the Blazers in Phoenix against the Suns. It looked like they were dead in the water midway through the fourth quarter of that game when the Suns go on like a 24-4 run. And then the Suns forgot that the game is, 48 minutes instead of 42. And, this Blazers team just sort of never say die. And Advia just making great plays, play after play, down the stretch of this game to get the Blazers into a 2-7 matchup with the San Antonio Spurs.
He's been that way all year. And this is, I think, what's great about the playoffs is that people who, look, a lot of people weren't staying up late at night to watch Portland on League Pass, right? Like the guys on the East Coast were not doing that and were fans. And so I don't think everybody realized how good Denny Advia was all season long. He's driven this team. He is up there in free throws because he gets to the line a lot. He gets his head down, going downhill. And it's like they were saying on the broadcast, it's kind of fascinating because he doesn't, I think Shea gets downhill, but these guys, and Luka or whomever, but they've got the pull up, right? Like they get you going and they get you off balance. No, he's pretty much head down. Like he's just getting to the rim. There's not a lot of pull up. I don't want to say there's not craft to his game because there is, but not in the same way. And it's an interesting conversation just because, like, to use two examples from last night, Concanoopel had an off night, even though he's going to be right in the middle of the Rookie of the Year mix. And Denny Avdia, who's a bubble All-NBA guy, has a huge night. I'm just saying as a voter, because of the Luka situation, we have not seen the ballots yet. And it's going to be interesting to see if that I set my ballot. I'm locked it down. I'm not going to touch it because it's supposed to be a regular season award. But if this drags out long enough, it's really hard not to go, man, Denny Avdia had those big playoff games. Maybe I should flip him from just out to just in the All-NBA or something.
Very interesting. Blazers move on. Suns will have to fight for their lives in another play-in tournament game. I want to get into it with you on the games from tonight. Our friend David Shepard, who was on the show yesterday, said he gives the Warriors no chance. I want to see if Kurt maybe feels... see, just by that response, I may have my answer. We'll get to that coming up in a couple of minutes. The other play-in tournament game tonight, Orlando and Philadelphia. We'll get into that as well as we continue on this Wednesday edition of Sports Wrap in the NBA Weekly. Welcome back. We continue the conversation in our Sports Wrap NBA Weekly with this guy, the one and only Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. So the games tonight, Wednesday night, start with Orlando and Philadelphia. Do you give the Sixers any chance given the injury stuff? And I mean, what feels like a must-win for Orlando, for Jamal Mosley to keep his job. Sort of give me a sense of where you are on this game.
I think Jamal Mosley has to do a lot more than win this game to keep his job. The disappointment bowl, I can't really count on either team. Like Philadelphia without Joel Embiid is incredibly vulnerable. But Orlando has not, they don't have any shooting. They are not consistent all season long. They have looked, I think this season did show, they finally have Franz Wagner back. This season really showed how much Jalen Suggs means to this team. They're just not the same when he's not out there. But even so, this team's been okay. Just okay, and they have some really disappointing nights. I don't like predicting this one because I don't trust either team.
Interesting. So you're not going to give me a prediction, is what you're saying?
I probably would take Orlando, but I don't love it. I don't feel comfortable with it at all.
You wouldn't put my money.
Honestly,
you wouldn't put my money on it. I got you.
Exactly. I bet your money. The only even last night, the one I was like, man. Phoenix is better than, Portland is better than people think. I might have leaned into that, but I don't even know what the spread was.
Yeah, so. I'm not even sure what it was either. Golden State and the Clippers, our friend David Shepard on the show yesterday said he didn't think Golden State had a chance in hell of winning that game. Make the argument, you're going to have Horford, you're going to have Kristaps, you're going to have Curry. Yes, they're on minutes restrictions, but they're going to play enough, and they're going to play when it matters in this game. Can Golden State somehow find a way to get out of Los Angeles with a win?
Yeah, the minute restriction for Curry is 40 minutes, so it's whatever. Here's the reason. I will give you 3 words that I think define why the Warriors have a chance.
Okay.
Stephen, Wardell, Curry. If that guy is on the floor, your team has a chance on any given night. And I think that's look, the Clippers are a better team. They have been more consistent of late, certainly. Kawhi Leonard is, if Luka is bumped, you very well might end up first team All NBA. He's had that kind of a season. They're a team that knows who they are. They're incredible. Both teams are really well coached. So the Clippers are at home and should be the favorite. In fact, I like them to win, and I will be at the game. But Curry, I'm just not. Any team with Steph Curry on it can can win a game, and Porzingis can have a hot night. That's the fun of the play-in. It's what made last night so great. Is this brings real jeopardy into the game, right? Real drama, because it's win or go home for these teams. It's win or your season's over. When you put that on the line, guys rise up. Curry famously has had some big moments in big games. So if he decides this is the last 3 minutes of the game against France, the Clippers could be in trouble.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I'm rooting for the Warriors just because I want to see Curry. Yeah, I want to see Curry as much as I can. As a basketball fan, you should want to see him as much as you can. You talked about Kerr, and we mentioned him a little bit on the show recently because he wants to keep running this thing back in terms of he wants to still coach this team. Is there a chance that this is his last game coaching the Warriors if they lose tonight?
I would be shocked. If he wants to be back, he will be back. If he is personally, his
doesn't feel like they're in a rush.
Move on,
but it doesn't.
They'll bump him to the front office. But I think he's genuinely going to do what Greg Popovich said he was going to do with Tim Duncan and then didn't, which is, ride this till he retires and then walk away. And I think that they will run it back with not only Curry, probably Porzingis on a much cheaper contract, but they will make some bold moves. They are going to go all in. They are going to try to win now. Let me rephrase that. I don't think they even internally believe they're going to suddenly compete with the Spurs and the Thunder, but they can turn this into a really dangerous team, an entertaining team again, and make a run. And that's what they're looking for.
The Doc Rivers stuff in Milwaukee, we've all seen the Shams, Doc Rivers stuff that's been going on. And now we're left to kind of wonder what happens next, with Doc. Do you get the sense, and again, to harken back to the conversation I was having with David yesterday, he said he thinks Doc still has the fire that in a couple of years, maybe even he would want to come back. He wouldn't want his career to end this way. Do you get that sense, or do you think this is it for Doc?
I'm not sure he's going to get to that chance, but I think he'd be open to it. He's going to take a broadcast job. He's, again, as we've discussed, he's just good at that. So he'll land on somebody's broadcast team next year, and mid-season, when some coach is in trouble, his name will come up. It will inevitably happen. I think he's at the point where he would only go. Look, he took Milwaukee because that was a plum job, right? That was Giannis Antetokounmpo and a contending team. If something like that came up again, where he could, what if Orlando comes and knocks? Well, he's been in Orlando, so probably not. But if a team with potential and a team who you're like, maybe this could work, knocked on the door, I think he'd listen. He's been a coach for 26 straight years. I think he'd keep doing it.
Luka Doncic, any chance he plays?
Later in the series, yeah, maybe. I don't, look, it's the short end of that timeline.
And they're being secretive. They're being very secretive here. Is it just to try and make the Rockets have to think he might play in this game?
Exactly. I think it's that. And I don't think anybody, even the Rockets, I don't think anybody thinks it's going to happen in game 1 or 2 in Los Angeles on Saturday. I believe it's Saturday and Tuesday are the two games. Assuming those two do not happen, could he be there if there's a game 5, game 6, game 7? The short end of the timeline is traditionally 3 weeks. Now, he's been having a nagging injury. I'm not sure that he's going to be on the short end of the timeline, but if he gets to the short end of the timeline, then you come back, middle of the series, and if the Lakers are hanging around, maybe they have a chance. The Rockets are a flawed team, but the Rockets are a really good half-court defense. And the Lakers have got to run everything through LeBron right now. So I don't know how many. They're going to have to find a way to stay alive long enough for Luka to come back and have a chance in this thing. And they still wouldn't have Austin. Austin's not going to play this series. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that series and whether or not Luka can get out on the court at all. And the Austin Reeves injury is obviously a crippling one as well. The Lakers just got hit with the injury bug, really, at the wrong time.
Well, it's just been bad luck. Yeah,
they
were one of those teams out there. The Knicks are one of these teams where if everything clicks, man, if everything comes together, you got a chance. And everything came together for them, and then they get hit with these.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. If Wednesdays are good for one thing, they're good for this. SportsWrap goes inside baseball with this guy, the one and only DA. David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, hangs out with us. I got so many different things I want to bounce around with in these couple of segments with you, so I'm going to try and be brief, which is not my forte.
No.
I know. I am the home of the 60-second question. How great is it to see Mike Trout healthy, though? 3 home runs in the last 2 games, 5 on the season. I know the average isn't that high, but he's out there in the field. And just the boost he gives this team. And it feels like a lot of guys on that Angels team are playing well. But how cool is it as somebody that, probably played, against Mike Trout? There aren't a lot of guys left that you played against. It must be nice to see Trout out there. Why?
You just had to make it personal. You had to get in there. Mike Trout's a stud. I've actually never faced him. I missed him in my one time. I would have faced him in like a spring training exhibition game anyways, when I was the Dodgers, went to play them in Dodger Stadium. But you love it. He's our generation's player. He's the one we all compared to everybody to at that time. And you know what he's able to do when he's healthy. It's just great seeing him on the field playing good baseball. Angels team's fun to watch. Again, there's nothing as a team that statistically that jumps out. The 25th in average, 19th in ERA, 20th in ERA in the bullpen. So there's nothing that's jumping off the page, but they're going to be a team that's going to battle you every single night. They're what, right at 500 right now, 9-9. It's going to be a fun team to watch. And if they make a couple right moves, they're going to be right in it in that division. They're capable of doing anything in that division. It's just going to see how other teams play against them every night. But I like this team. They're going to be the fun, scrappy team to watch.
It feels like 88 wins could win that division, David. I don't think it's crazy to say. I don't think it's going to take more than 90 to win that division. That's what it feels like to me. Am I nuts?
No, I think you're right on. I think it's going to be around that number. None of those teams are jumping off the page. Again, we always know the Mariners seem to be slow starters, heavy towards the end of the season, especially the last couple of years. It's just who's going to be able to jump ahead early in that June, July time. I think whoever that is ends up winning this division.
And Joe Adell's arrived. I mean, it took a few years because he wasn't playing consistently. The strikeout numbers were huge, but he's cut down on the strikeouts. We obviously saw what he did in the field with the 3 home run robberies. He's hitting home runs. It feels like the Joe Adell moment is here right now.
Without a doubt. That game was absolutely insane. Maybe the best game ever defensively. 3 robbing home runs, like that might be somebody's whole entire season. But then he's adding on top of that average 315. He's doing it every single way. So you have to love seeing that, especially a guy who hasn't figured it out yet. Now he's at 27, and you're hopefully this train just keeps going. Neto is playing well. Obviously, we talked about Trout. Soler is playing really good. Jose Soriano might be the best pitcher in baseball right now, and so you have to like the direction a lot of these guys. Reed Detmers too. And so just continue this and keep playing baseball. They just got to figure out some of that bullpen a little bit.
And Detmer's back to being a starter, which is nice as well. What do you do when the roof feels like it's caving in this early in the season and you're the Brewers and everybody's hurt? As a team, do you walk around the locker room like looking for something to fall out of the ceiling and hit you in the head?
You just hope it's not you. And sometimes when the injury bug happens, it really does feel like that. It's like, all right, who's going to be next, right? Andrew Vaughn with the Brewers, Yelich going on, Churio, like those guys, especially like Yelich being hurt, and then we're trying to see when he's going to come back. And when somebody's like captain of like that, when you have a team that just catches on like that, and the Brewers are the team right now where you kind of have that all happening all at once. You're just you're kind of like feeling you're walking on glass. Like, don't let it be me. But it feels like that sometimes, but you have to go out there and play. And a lot of times with a team like the Brewers, or really good teams in baseball where the injury bug does happen, the next man up, and like small clubs tend to find that little energy in the next guy who wants that job, because they breed that culture of next man up. So injuries happen, get over it. And especially the Brewers. Brewers every year have an injury. It's usually a Cy Young candidate that gets hurt. It's usually somebody else might be usually that guy. So they tend to learn how to deal with it and get over it.
Pat Murphy thought it was unfair that fans were booing Tyler McGill after his latest rough outing coming out of the bullpen. Can you, and I don't know if I've ever asked you this, of all the things we've asked you about dealing with as a player, the boos. Like when you have 2 or 3 bad outings in a row and the fans are riding you hard, am I bringing you back to someplace tough, or is it a PTSD moment? Yeah, but I mean, what's it like to be going through that? And is it just some guys can handle it better than others?
It's it's
how did you handle it?
Rock starts rolling down a hill, right? You know you're not pitching well. It's not like you're not thinking about it.
Sure.
It's not like you're not doing extra work. Tyler McGill is, I guarantee you, is nonstop trying to work. And then one coach is telling him, hey, you're doing too much. And then the other coach is, hey, we got to work more. And so now you're in this constant pull and struggle with doing too much work, not doing too much work. And then like not doing enough, and you're never finding the middle ground instead of just going out there and feeling good and fresh and pitching. It's this constant. Devin Williams, I guarantee you, was doing that last year when he was in New York with the Yankees. It's a nonstop battle of you're not good, and then you're doing too much work. You're not doing enough work, and so then you start hearing about it from the fans. Like, yeah, I know. You think I want to suck right now? You think I'm trying to lose these games? You're doing the most you can, and you're just hearing from all sides. Honestly, what happens, the best way to deal with this is right now, give them a break off. Give him the IL, like a phantom IL. Ask him if he wants to take just 10 days to refresh his mind, to say he has a hangnail and he needs to rest it.
Sports Wrap Inside Baseball continues. Welcome back to the show. Odds and ends 10 minutes from now to wrap things up. We didn't get to it yesterday on the show. These outrageous, the price gouging going on when it comes to the World Cup. New Jersey Transit's getting in on the act.
Ooh, I heard about that.
Did you see that story? Oh my God, it's crazy.
Nothing quite like trying to figure, the city trying to figure out how to screw everybody who wants to go. Like, you want the games, you want it in your city, and then you're screwing the people when they're going in your city. Like, what are you doing?
This World Cup might be the tipping point. It really might be when it comes to like these mega sports events and sort of the way people handle them. It's going on here with WrestleMania too. The prices were so high for WrestleMania this year that Allegiant Stadium is going to be like half full for WrestleMania because people are just like, we're not paying these ridiculous prices to sit at the top of the upper deck and stare at ants in the wrestling ring. We're just not doing it. David Aardsma hanging out with us here on the show in our Sports Wrap Inside Baseball. So the Yankee bullpen, it sucked at the end of last year, and it sucked at the beginning of this year. It feels like it was good for the first, 7-8 games of the season, and now it's really struggling. What do you do as a collective when it's this bad, this early for the Yankees, piggybacking off of what happened last year, David?
Again, if you look at the numbers for the unit right now, they're 13th in ERA, they're 19th in WHIP, 11th in balls and first strike, whatever. Like, they're kind of middle of the road in almost all the stats, right? But that's not telling the whole story. Like you said, at the very beginning, they were they're the best in the league. Now they're definitely falling off, and there's really no lifeboat. Bednar, Duvall, like those guys have been the worst of them. Those are supposed to be the ones that you trust, that you go back to. Generally, bullpens, even when, 5 of the guys are struggling, which happens, there's that one guy at the end of the ball game that's there. The Yankees, it's been several years where they have not had that rock at the end of the bullpen. And good teams can't win without that rock at the end of the bullpen. I don't care what it is. You've got too many guys, and there's too many good relievers out there that can just get the job done to be relying on guys that are not. And again, Bednar, Duvall, I've got Cruz. These guys are studs. They are absolute studs, but they're not getting the job done. You have to shake it up. Go to Yarborough. Go to somebody. Try Tim Hill. Try somebody in a role that they haven't done before, and see if they step up in the role and shake the tree a little bit. Because I'm sorry, like, I don't care what your name is, and I was one of these guys at one point. I don't care how many saves you have had. Bullpen is how many saves can you give me right now? And saves are just a good letter for stopping everything, stopping another team from scoring, and at least being a rock to where, all right, we can set one thing and figure out everybody below that. You have to have somebody. That's why you have aces in rotations. Max Fried or Cam Schmittler, the way he's been throwing, he's a rock right now. So bullpen, your starters kind of suck. He steps up and throws the rock and pitches really well. You need to have players like that. And right now they just don't.
And it feels like it just keeps, and then it starts adding more pressure onto the starters because guys feel like they got to go deeper into the games. They start pressing. And it has to be a domino effect at some point. The Pirates are scoring. They're scoring runs. I mean, they've scored more runs for Paul Skeens in his last start than they probably scored for him all of last season, David. I mean, this is crazy. The Pirates are off to a great start. And as much as we talk about the AL West and what could be there with the Brewers having their injuries, I know the Cubs are still probably the favorites in that NL Central. If you're a Pirates fan right now, you got to be excited.
You have to be excited. I think they have the 4th best run differential in all of baseball. So that the Braves are
don't
are
expect
crazy.
that to last.
I want to say it won't last, but again, like how much different is this team is from their World Series winning team, and like the players, like all we've known in the last 3 years is the Braves just need to figure it out, and now they might be just figuring it out, right? But the Dodgers obviously are going to be the Dodgers all year. The Twins again are one of those teams too. But then you're looking at this Pittsburgh team and saying like, is this real? Is this real? We know they have the pitching staff. Is that offense really that good? And no, I don't think it is. I think this is just a great turn of events. The playing really good. The bullpen is still very average. The hitting is unreal right now. Top 10 in basically every stat that even matters. The rotation, we know this is just a matter of getting to this point, but they're top 5, top 10 in everything. I think that's real. That's legit. Now it's just like, come on. When you have the guys hitting the way they are, like, I just don't see it lasting all year. I would love it to be. I think they're middle of the road hitting. I think they're 20th on hitting, but they're going to be top 5, top 10 pitching, which is good enough to win a division without a doubt. But they need let's wait on this one. It's nice to see. I just want to see more crowds too. Give me a Paul Skeens day with
like 11,000. Like they had 9,000 for his previous start. They had 11,000 for this last start with him, and it's like the reason you're keeping him on this team is those Paul Skeens days where you're expecting fans to show up and nobody's showing up.
If you want him on this team, if you want him to be a Pittsburgh Pirate for life, you have to show up as a fan. Because right now, I'm like, why am I wasting this? I could have every prospect in the world for Paul Skeens. I could have an entire team's, draft. Well, like what we did like the Saints back in the day with Ricky Williams. I could have that. Or I can have 11,000 and he's winning and dominating. It's not like he sucks.
No. Through the first 17 or 18 games in Major League Baseball, a lot of mid right now. It's just filled with mid if you go and look at the standings and a lot of the team's records. No mid when we talk about David Aardsma, though. He is top shelf all the way. Former big league reliever and closer hanging out with us inside baseball. Always appreciate you, my friend. Be well.
Oh, thank you.
Let's wrap it up. Some odds and ends are next. Back to the show. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday tomorrow. Dennis Bernstein scheduled to be here. TheFourthPeriod.com, SiriusXM NHL Radio. We're going to have to get in a WrestleMania preview somewhere because WrestleMania is this weekend. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it on Friday. I'm here in Las Vegas where WrestleMania is actually taking place and town's buzzing. I don't know if it's buzzing the way it was last year, but it is buzzing. So all of that and more. We'll have reaction to the play-in tournament games from the NBA. Sam Yarnell will be back here as well. So before we go, a couple of reminders. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the SportsWrap with Jason Page podcast, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can listen to this show. Crystal clear audio, Monday through Friday. It's fantastic. You can listen to it while you're on the treadmill, jogging, while you're working out. I don't know why all these things take place in the gym. While you're on a drive, while you're on a plane. Anyway, check it out. Mostly commercial free, Monday through Friday, the podcast version of the show. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel is the place to find all things Sports Wrap with Jason Page. The Monday through Friday TV version of the show, it's there. We also have our companion podcasts, Sports Wrap Spotlight, Sports Wrap's NBA Weekly, the Sports Wrap Inside Baseball, which you heard on the show today. We take those, cut them up, put them in there for you. Sometimes the content goes longer than we have time for, and we put all that bonus content into the YouTube channel. Also, Sports Wrap Shorts. These are 1 to 3 minute long videos. When news breaks, we jump in with a Sports Wrap short, throw them up there for you on YouTube as the day goes on. If something breaks, go and check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's free, and we appreciate it. Sports Wrap Shorts also available on our TikTok, Sports Wrap Jason Page, and on our Instagram as well. You guessed it, Sports Wrap Jason Page. And now, without any further delay, on this Wednesday edition of the show, it's already Wednesday, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends. The price gouging continues when it comes to the World Cup. The latest example coming from the New Jersey Transit. Yes, that New Jersey Transit. The train you take. Even the state officials in New Jersey trying to make an extra buck. In fact, more than an extra buck. How about like 7 times more than they normally make to go from Penn Station to the Meadowlands, where MetLife Stadium is and where the World Cup is taking place. You've got tickets are normally $12.50 to go from Penn Station to MetLife Stadium. For the World Cup, they are going to be $100. Can you believe this? Like, in this day and age, where everything costs more, gas costs more, your food costs more, inflation, all these different things. People are struggling to get by. You're now going to tell them, if you want to take the train, imagine what parking's going to cost for this World Cup. I mean, it is ridiculous. Everybody should hang their heads in shame that's involved with this World Cup. From the World Cup itself, who's handed out like fake awards to the president just to make him feel better, to the folks at New Jersey Transit who are going to charge people $100 to go from Penn Station. I'd walk before I paid $100. Well, all right, it's Jersey, maybe not. But you know what I mean. $100 to go from Penn Station to MetLife Stadium. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Odds and ends. Alex Ovechkin may have played his final game in a Capitals jersey. He played last night. Capitals beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. Unfortunately, the Capitals are not going to the playoffs, so the career of Alex Ovechkin may very well be over. He has not indicated one way or another whether or not this is his final season. I hope he comes back for one more year, but it certainly seems like everybody believes this will be it for him. Maybe he plays in the KHL next year back home in his homeland in Russia. We'll have to obviously wait and see. We didn't get to it with our friend David Aardsma, but news from Major League Baseball, where the Tigers are doing that thing that a lot of other teams are doing. Rookie Kevin McGonigal, making sure I say his name right, has signed for 8 years, $150 million. Does it sound familiar? It's kind of like the Connor Griffin deal that the Pirates gave to their young star after he had only played for a few games. Rookie infielder Kevin McGonigal gets an 8-year contract extension worth $150 million. It includes a $14 million signing bonus and a $5 million bonus each time the contract is assigned to another major league team. So he's doing well. Kevin McGonigal only played a few games in Major League Baseball, getting signed to a big deal. It's obviously the trend around Major League Baseball to try and, if you're some of these middle market or smaller market teams, try and sign these guys and get them locked up before the value of a potential contract becomes too enormous and you wind up having to watch them walk in free agency. It's going to do it for us on the show today. Thanks to Kurt Helin for hanging out with us. from Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Also, thank you to our friend David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, who hung out with us as well. Sam Yarnell back on the show tomorrow. I'm Jason Page. That does it for Sports Wrap. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Bye-bye. Hi there, I'm Jason Page. You like what you're watching? Subscribe. We've got Sports Wrap Shorts on this channel. We've got the show. We've got clips from the show. What else do you have to do? You probably follow a lot of other things that aren't half of as exciting. They're not half as exciting as this show is. So what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, follow the channel, watch the content. Bye.